Welcome to Country Kickback, where you'll hear the latest music from performers you already know and discover new music and artists from around the world. If you have an artist you'd like us to chat with, reach out to the team at countrykickback.com, or you can watch our live videos and more by following us on social media and YouTube. Here is your host, Danni Shaw, with the latest from Country Kickback.
Hello everyone. I don't know how many people are tuning in at the moment, but let me know if you're there, because I have had so many pictures sent through from groundwater this morning and everything that's going on, and I wish I was there with you. So let me know how you're going. What are you enjoying about groundwater? Have you got yourself a list of got the program and gone through it to figure out where you've got to be at all certain times? I usually do that with my highlighter, and then I'll get a second one and I'll do it on that one too, and then I'll mix them up again. Hi Paula, it's lovely to see you joining us, so thank you. We've got loads of shows that we've put up on the page again this week, and for the coming weeks right through to Christmas. We are just very book solid, so it seems like I'm throwing lots of things at you at the moment if you're getting any sort of notification, but if you click on it that you're interested, you can forget about it once you've done that, because then it will remind you on the day, and you'll get, I think, a 20-minute reminder, and then potentially a three-minute reminder as well, if we're live. So it might be a bit easier to do that, because we have, with the new way that the programs are working with Facebook and all the different streaming platforms that we're going to, it does have to be scheduled, which makes it a bit harder for you guys to see at the time that it's going to come out. So the best way is to click that you're interested or that you're going, and on whatever platform, whether it be YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, any of the areas that we go to. So if you're somebody coming up that you want to see, make sure you do that. Okay, we've got Aurelle joining us this afternoon. We're going to have a talk to her about her new single and what she's got planned for the rest of the year and into next year. So we might welcome her into the room. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
How are you? We've finally got it working. We had a few technical issues, didn't we? But we got there.
We had some gremlins, but we sorted it.
If it doesn't work the first time, we just go to the trusty phone. We know now. We're there.
Yes. I don't know what was going on here, but yeah, like you said, I think it was, it's nearly Friday.
It's ready for a rest. We've got people jumping on already. Yes, exactly. Paula has come in to say hello, and Jonathan is coming to say hello. And Jonathan, one of our friends and fellow artist, Lucy Targa, has got a new song coming out tomorrow. I hope you've pre-saved it. I'm sure Jonathan has. So if you haven't already, jump on and do that. Add that to your list. We haven't had you on the show before.
No, this is great. I'm so excited.
It's exciting. I was very excited when you came through. I was like, oh, this will be fun. So what we usually do is a bit of a Country Kickback tradition. We like to hear a bit about your story and why you got into music, and what are some of your influences and how long you've been doing it for.
I've been doing music probably as long as I can remember, like from my childhood onwards. When I was younger, like my father used to, like, we'd have sing-alongs at home, before the technology sort of kicked in, and we had, we had a turntable, so we'd listen to records, and, like we'd get the guitar out and just muck around and play along. None of us could play really well, but we'd all have a crack. And then at primary school, I was lucky enough to be a member of a pretty substantial choir at a pretty wasn't a large primary school, but for the town and the time, I guess it was a large primary school. And our music teacher would get us to we'd do productions, like as young primary school kids. We'd be full costume, full musical sort of production. We'd perform then for the local community, and I think even once they took us to Cairns and we performed out there. So I learned choir, and doing that I was, and in the choir I was able to learn things like harmonies and stuff like that. And then fast forward a little bit, like I always sort of played my guitar through my teenage years, and then sort of didn't do much with music for a while. I went to uni and I studied to become a school teacher, a primary school teacher, which I still am today. And in the last probably 10 years or so, I connected with numerous musicians from around my local area, Most of them being like people that I jam with regularly. I'm in a covers band. I do a duo act. But what really got me writing was I taught a young girl. My husband and I taught a young girl out at a very small rural school out here called Chiligo. Her name's Becky Nethery. So I don't know if you've heard of Becky.
Lovely.
Yes. So we worked here as a young student, and then as she grew up, like she's now in her 20s, obviously, and we have since written a song and fully produced together. And you know, back in those days, I sort of was, you know, kicking along with Becky at gigs, you know, singing her harmonies and stuff for her. And she was like, "You can do this. You can write songs. You know, you can play guitar and sing. So why not have a go?"
Yeah.
So and, you know, she was the first person to hear a number of my originals. And my very first time, I owe her so much, because my very first time playing an original at a festival of quite esteem was at the Gympie Music Muster in 2017.
Yes.
And Becky was a part of the Tamworth Songwriters Association showcase, and she said to me, because I was there to cheer her, and she said to me, "You've got to come up and you've got to sing one of your originals. You need to do it." And it took a lot of coaxing, because I was like, "Oh no, this is your show, your spot." And we did it. She sang harmony for me for the very first time with one of my originals, and that's where it just all sort of snowballed from there. And
how did you feel after finishing that first song? It would have been incredible.
Oh, look, I will tell you something. I was so nervous, because I mean, up until that point, I'd performed quite a bit in front of people, so it wasn't necessarily a stage fright or anxiety, but it was definitely overwhelming, because I was like, "Oh, what if they hate this? Like, I've never played this to anyone before." She assured me that it was good enough, you know, and the crowd really loved it. And
Good.
yeah, after that, I think I had written a few, and Magpie was a song I released last year. And I think the first time, similar sort of scenario, the first time people heard that was through a live recording on the radio. I was interviewed at a local radio station down in Cairns called F&Q Originals. And yeah, I had no idea going into that was a live recording, and I had to sing Magpie. We had ever heard it before. Yeah, it was so great. Like, I had a lot of people inbox me and say, "Oh, I really dig that song," but at the time I was like, "Oh, I don't know how this is going."
Yes, yeah. It's that confidence, and you just got to trust in yourself and your skill.
I think I have to let go of a lot of inhibitions and go, you know what, like, it's art, and at the end of the day, there's always going to be someone who take to it, but then there's going to be people who are like, "Oh, I really dig that." So I just have to take that on board and go with the flow.
Enjoy what you're doing. Do it for you, and then it doesn't matter how it grows outside. It's okay, because you're doing it for yourself, and people will feel that and come along for the ride.
Yeah, no, I haven't looked back.
So teaching music is sort of something that you've done, obviously, a fair bit. How do you feel now teaching someone after you've gone out and done it yourself? Do you give them different advice, knowing now what it's like starting that out and actually getting out there and doing it?
Oh, so I teach the art. So I do dancing and drama as well as music. And one thing I teach my youths is that they can do anything they want. Like, they can be what they want to be. And have tried to sort of open their eyes to the fact that there are jobs within the arts. Like, you can be a professional musician, you can be a professional dancer, like an actor. You can do all these things. Like, you just have to work hard and, you know, go where opportunities are. And because a lot of these students, like, we are we're not remote where we live by any standards, but we are rural, and so there's not a lot of places where these students get access to, you know, like, they don't go to theatres or, you know, see a lot of schools up here, you know. So yeah, I try to tell them, look, you know, if I can do it, any of you can do this. So it's not it's possible.
You're leading by example, aren't you? Not just telling them what they can do. And I think that's really important for young kids to see.
Yeah. I'm always sort of like, I try to make out, which I don't have to try because it's just so easy. Like, I love what I do, and I think that definitely shows with them. They can see that it's exciting. It's exciting to me, and I think that they love the fact that I do have something that drives me to push myself further and makes me happy.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see. Do you try your new songs out on them first? That's cool.
No, not really. We do a lot of songwriting though. As a part of their curriculum, there is time within the curriculum where we do songwriting. And but I must admit, when I was due to release Magpie, which was my very first single, my debut last year, I did play it before the release date because they were just so curious, as to what music going to sound like. And I remember playing it for a couple of classes, and sponsors I did reviews. It was hilarious, actually.
Wow. I'm sorry. I for a second there, I thought I'd knocked the screen because it went funny, but it was on my end. You didn't. You could still see me, couldn't you?
Yeah.
No, it just went a bit funny. I'm like, oh, I think that was me. I think I've just knocked a key there. That's okay. Don't have to panic. Oh wow. So Magpie, leading into you now releasing more music, with Stumbling, how have you felt going from that first single to this one? Do you feel like you've had more understanding and you've had more growth and confidence in what you do this time round, or have you done it sort of the same way because it worked the first time?
I don't think I've done a lot differently, to be honest. Probably much the same. Yeah, like I sort of went into it sort of going, like almost like I'll throw my hat out there and have a go. Like I sort of don't expect, not sort of knowing what to expect, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like I'm happy within myself to have kicked that goal. So if it gets 20 streams on Spotify or 20,000 streams on Spotify, I feel like I'm winning. Like Spotify, and I got this far in my journey, so I'm grateful for every step.
Yeah, you're enjoying it, and it's lovely to see, actually. So tell us about this new single. I have seen the video clip, and I have put a link in the comments for your YouTube page and your Spotify page as well. But tell us about writing this one, and is it a new write? Is it something that you've just written, or have you been sitting on this one for a little while?
It actually isn't a new write. I wrote this, I think, in 2018 or 2019, and it was around about the time. So the backstory, I guess, the sort of the reason, I guess, behind it was at the time would have been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, and it's not terminal or anything like that, but I do get serious symptoms that can be quite debilitating at times. Dizziness being one of them.
Yes.
And before I knew what was going on with me, because I had gone to the doctors a few times with these symptoms, and I was starting to panic, thinking the worst, something really could, I haven't ticked all the things on my bucket list yet, and I wasn't ready to, go over the Rainbow Bridge, and I was thinking to myself, what if? And so when I got the diagnosis, it wasn't serious. My brain's fine. I have a brain and it works, and I was. Well, that will have been a serious diagnosis, and I dodged the bullet. And so it kicked my gear where I was, I have these ideas in my head, like Becky had inspired me to write, and I'd sort of gone, oh yeah, I'll do that later. I've got time later on, and then I sort of thought, no one's guaranteed time, and so I thought there is no time like the present. Let's get in and get this done. And so Stumbling came out of having it was a bad experience, and I'm still, it's ongoing. I'm managing my symptoms, but I'm doing fine, and so I wrote that as a cheer me up kind of a song, but I wanted to put in that song, I wanted to fit in a myriad of things. So like I was adding into it, like, the day to day, like getting to work on time was actually becoming because I wrote it, my kids were still younger, And, you know, there's a lot going on. I was feeling really poorly. I felt like it slowed me down quite a bit. Like I was dragging my feet quite
Yes.
literally. And I couldn't
Yes.
keep being dizzy. Hard to keep my head up, which is one of the lines in the song, trying to keep my head up and trying to go with the flow.
We were actually
And
physically trying to do that as well as mentally. Yeah.
physically. And so someone said to me, like, you know, what did you want people to get out of this song? And at the time when I wrote it, I think I probably wrote it more for myself. But when I really think about it, I sort of think, well, I want people to be able to go, oh, I can connect with that because, yeah, I have my own, whatever it may be that you feel like is, you know, your struggle, your personal struggle. And, you know, it could be a number of things, but it could just be that you're always running late, you know. And so I wanted it to be like, you know, this is what we do, you know, we're feeling like we've got this feeling of, you know, we're failing at adult, you know, we've run out the door, we're in the car, but oh, we forgot the lunchbox, or, you know, we've rocked into work by late and we're worried we're going to get, you know, fired. And I just wanted people to know that they're winning, like they are doing a good job, and, you know, keep up the good work. Don't get down on yourself, like give yourself a break more.
Yeah.
I wanted to include in that, like all those, you know, essentially like Groundhog Day adult conversations, like how's work? Oh, yeah, you know, and oh, I got stuck in traffic, like all kind of gear. It's kind of anecdotal, I'd say.
How lovely though. You have managed to do that. And when I was watching the film clip and things, it was so funny. Like, did you have a lot of family and friends come to do that on that day? Because it looked like you all were you were enjoying it, and it didn't look like it was hard work at all.
It was so much fun. That was self-produced, and the footage was taken by my brother-in-law Frank with his camera. We thought we'd dabble in it and have a little crack at, you know, making our own music. I sort of thought, oh, we'll see how it goes. Throw it out there and have a crack. And yeah, I'd put it up on Facebook on my music page. You know, whoever wants to come and be involved in this music video. You know, you don't have to be good actor, Hollywood grade actor. You can just come along for the ride. And so I had a few people were like, yeah, I'm interested in that. And we just essentially, I wanted it to be like we're on this bus, because the lyrics do make a reference to being on a bus on the commute. But then at the end of the commute, at the end of the ride, it wasn't like we were going to work. We actually ended up in the park having a picnic and a game of cricket.
Cricket, yes.
So I just we wagged work. We played hooky from work. So yeah, we had a great time. It didn't feel like work at all. Making the video, it just seemed to flow and was natural. And I had like, yeah, my friends, and I had my own children and their children in it. So I'm hoping that one day when they grow up, probably not in their teenage years, they'd probably be a bit embarrassed by it in the next few years, but when they're adults, I hope they can look back on that and go, well, that was fun, you know.
Yeah, a nice memory, and it did look fun. It looked like a great day. And so you did all that film in one day. Was it just a one-day shoot?
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of those shots are like one take shots. You can probably tell.
Right. It's great.
We sort of storyboarded it, and, you know, figured out what, you know, like when everyone showed up, we sort of met at the cafe in town, and I was like, right, you're doing this part and you're doing that part. I didn't want anyone to overthink or overplan. I just wanted it to be off the cuff sort of. Yeah. And they do it like I think they've found a true calling there. Some of them, I think that they've got some talent. So
Home and Away is the next step. Definitely.
Yeah, like own local soapy here in our small town might be.
That's exactly right. Yeah, good idea. We've floated that idea out there. Now, everyone that can help us make this happen, we've got you covered. It looked like great fun. So, have you had a lot of great reception since releasing this music? Have people been really enjoying that and feeling your story and what you're telling them? Have they been commenting to you?
Yeah, the video itself has gone to YouTube, and like it got several views in a short amount of time, which I think I've got a few theories. It's either that they wanted to see us probably make fools of ourselves because there's a lot of locals in it, or it's probably a lot of my school students, because they do tell me
Yes.
when I rock up to work, they'll say, "Oh, we watched it 10 times or we streamed it 10 times on Spotify." So they are probably my biggest. Yeah.
You've got them trained perfectly.
My biggest fan base. They're absolutely, yeah. I feel sorry for the parents though, because there have been a few parents that have said to me, "I love your song, but I am sick of hearing 'Bye Bye Little Blackbird in the Sky,'" you know. So yeah.
It's fantastic. That's what we all should be doing, shouldn't we? We should all be just putting it on stream and just continuing it going, so that we get all those plays and it gets out to other people as well.
Yeah, I'm happy with where all of my music has gone, and you know how it's been received. I do with this particular song. I have had before I had it produced, I did have a few people come up to me and approach me at festivals and sort of say, "Look, I really like that one. It's I can relate to it. I also have an autoimmune, blah blah blah." So even before I recorded it, I kind of knew this is the one, because yeah, a lot of people said, you know, this is upbeat and fun and catchy. I really like the melody in it. So yeah, it was just, yeah, I had to do it.
And people can relate, as you're saying, you know, it is more common to have those sorts of things than we realize. So when someone's got someone that's put something out there that they can relate to, and it helps them. It helps people get through, and it helps them go, "I'm not alone," you know. So it's doing what you want it to do, which is beautiful.
Sometimes just hearing that is all you need, just to set you off on a good thing for the day, on a good wicket for the day. You're winning. So
yeah, exactly. You can be having a bad day, and it's just what you need to hear, and it works, doesn't it? But we are all out there, and I think you know, music is what brings us all together to help us with those sorts of things. When you know, sitting at home, you hear this song come on, and it just makes your day. But
100% person will replay the song in the car on my commute if, like, you know, something interrupted it, like if there was if the GPS or something like that. I'll be like, "Nah, I didn't get the full experience. I have to go back to the start."
I pulled up at work early this morning, and another person pulled up next to me, and they were waiting to go in. They wanted to say hello, but I'm a bit of, I have to wait for this song to finish. And I could see them standing there waiting for me, and I'm like, I can't turn the car off yet. You're just going to have to wait another 2 minutes till this song finishes, because I'm not done. They were sort of looking at me. I'm like, oh, sorry. Oh, we've lost you. Hang on, we've lost your sound. Just a minute. I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You're back. I don't know. It just stopped for a second. We have just had really heavy rain, so whether that's affected it at the minute, I can hear it out there.
We've just had a storm, so yeah.
Oh, perfect. Tell us what you've got planned going forward, music-wise. Are you going to try and do some shows before the end of the year? Are you going to head to Tamworth? Have you got more releases coming in the new year?
So with regards to Tamworth, I would dearly love to get there. It just feels like a million miles away.
Yes.
Tamworth is always at the time of the year, because I'm a school teacher. It's always at the time of the year when us teachers have to go back for our mandatory professional development days. And a few years ago, I blew them off. I was like, you know what? I'm going to Tamworth. I was going to Tamworth with Becky, because Becky was heading that way herself. And so we decided we're going to Tamworth together. And so I blew off those professional development days, and my boss was not happy. And I think karma bit me in the butt, because when I got there, I was scheduled to play 3 shows with the Tamworth Songwriters Association. They've been so supportive of me.
They're wonderful.
Did one show, and then I must have eaten something dodgy at a service station there. Not anyone's fault. And poisoning for the remainder of my 2 days that I was there. So I
oh gosh,
spent time in Perth General Hospital more than I was at the festival, and after the hospital itself it's mint, but I was happy to be there. And so I am desperately keen to break that curse of mine that I have with Tamworth. I need to get there and not get food poisoning.
Yes.
Um, but with regards to Tamworth, yes, it's definitely on my radar. I'd love to do it eventually. Probably not in the near future, but in the not too distant future. But locally wise, there are a few festivals that we have up here. Cairns is always another place where they do an arts sort of area down in there where we have local shows and we do get original artists, and to even support more established artists, Australian artists that come through. So that's always an option too. And with releasing new music, I definitely do have a lot in the pipeline with regards to hitting the studio and getting something off the ground, recorded wise, and probably then put out, released probably in the not too distant future after that. So it's all a bit of it all takes time.
It does, yeah. It's a huge thing. And
Yeah.
dollars, yeah. We've got lots of people popping in. There's been comments coming through, people and chatting between them. Deborah's watching and she said, say good evening to everybody. I know Chris is watching. I saw your comment up further, but I can't get it up on the screen, Chris. And Jonathan said he's going to check out your songs after the Country Kickback show. So I know we've got people from Australia, we've got people from overseas. Tell us where you're watching from, and have you heard Stumbling yet? And if you haven't, you can go and have a look, because in the comments there's the link to go and have a look when we're finished.
Leave a comment on my YouTube or on the link on the comment section of YouTube. I'd love to hear what people think about it.
Yeah, the feedback. I love that. Me too. I like to sit there and I'll watch the song and the film clip, and I'll often read through the comments because I love to hear the different ideas that people have got from the song. John has popped in and he said to say hello.
Hi.
Paula said that she's going to have a look at your music when we finish as well, which is lovely. And that's what we want. That's what we've done Country Kickback for, to show you guys artists that you might not have got to see out there yet. So it's great. Can you hear that storm? Could you hear that?
Was it?
Did you hear the big storm that just the big bang? It didn't come through, did it? The speakers? Oh,
no.
It's the rain. Oh dear, it's funny. I'm like, oh, but that's all right. If we go dark, then we know we've lost power. Yeah. Oh dear. So yeah, new music in the pipelines. What are the best places for people to follow you and follow your music? Are you active mostly on social media or on a website? What are the best places for people to watch what you're up to and when you've got new things coming out?
So definitely more active. I don't have a professional website as such yet, but I'm definitely very active on Facebook. So it's just Aurelle Brunjes Music on Facebook, and the same with my Instagram on Aurelle Brunjes Music on Instagram as well. And I'm very up to date with my news and keeping people in the loop with what's going on. Yeah. And then of course all your streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music. Yeah.
And I have put that I don't have a link to Spotify. So if any of you guys have a link for it to Spotify, send it through in the comments. But I have put the Spotify one up there as well. And John said that he's got your songs queued up and he's going to have a listen to that on Spotify. And Chris has popped in and he said he hasn't heard your music before, but it sounds interesting career path. That's true. I always say that to people, and everyone that watches regularly would probably be sick of hearing me say, I love to hear your story and why you went into music and how long you've been doing it. I love to hear there's so many different reasons that people do it, and I just love to hear those things coming in. So it's been lovely to hear your story tonight.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Oh, I hope you come back. And my auntie lives in Cairns and my cousin, so I might have to drag my mum up to Cairns for a little bit and we'll come and visit you when we're up there next.
Look at Dimbula. It's a beautiful part of the world.
Yes.
Probably not months. Don't actually, maybe avoid the North Queensland in general in the summer months.
My mum usually comes up every September for a week or so. I think it's September that she normally goes.
September is beautiful. Like, we Northerners are usually still wearing our flannelette shirts and socks and what do you call it? It is in September, but for you Southern, it's probably like, your summer months, and have some beautiful places to visit here in far north Queensland. Like, I love living in this part of the world. I actually just love living in Australia. I haven't seen this whole country, but we are so lucky. It's a beautiful country. So yeah, you're more than welcome to come and visit Dimbula, and we can go and look at some local sites for sure.
That'll be fun. That will be lots of fun. My goal one day is to go Country Kickback on the road and do a really great tour right up to see everybody and all these places that I hear beautiful songs about that I want to see in person. And we're getting there. We're heading out to Tamworth. We're heading to a few different places next year. So actually, there's a few to come this year too, which is crazy. But yeah, we'll definitely get to see you on the road. And have a listen live. That would be amazing.
Oh, I'd love that. Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. I hope that you want to come back, and with your next single, we would love to have you back. But please, when you have pre-orders and pre-releases, please send them the link through, because I'd love to put them up for everyone to click on and pre-save for you.
It means a lot to us, honestly. Like I mean, it's not my, what do you call it, sole income doing what I'm doing, but there are others out there that this is their sole, bread and butter. And so I just really appreciate all the support that I see you fellas giving us with this. It doesn't happen on its own. So I really appreciate that. Thank you for your support.
It's lovely to hear that it's helping people as well, because honestly, it's when we do a live from Country Kickback, or we do a live, I see you do a live, or I see other artists doing lives, the whole family, you see the same names, we're all supporting everybody. It is a beautiful industry to be a part of in Australia. So it's great to see you getting it out there now and meeting us all.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Like, yeah.
Anytime. You're welcome anytime. Well, thank you for joining us. We've got, I'm not going to reel off the shows next week because I might get the order wrong. So many people booked in the last few days. So have a look at the page. I've popped them up there. And when they come through, as I said before, make sure you hit the interested or going link, so that way, if it's in a couple of weeks' time, it will remind you on the day, so that you don't get muddled with which ones are which and their times that they're advertised for. But thank you again. Go and check out the music above. The links are right at the top of the comment strand. It won't let me scroll up for some reason, but they are there. And head over to all socials and give them a like or a follow. I don't know what you do now. Is it follow or like? I'm muddled with which one we're meant to do.
Even sharing is such a good way to get like your mutual friends to have a look at, like, if they're into music and they see something pop up that takes their fancy. I mean, not everything's for everyone, but you just never know. There might be something out there that someone shares my stuff and go, yeah, I dig this. So yeah.
And you know what? That person could be having a really bad day, and it could be the one thing that just lifts them up. A good song. So share and keep sharing, because it does make a big difference. But thank you for joining us again, and we'll see you all very soon. We'll see you next week, definitely. We'll see you later.
Good night, everybody.